This morning, our executive director of Wilshire Boulevard Temple, Donna Nadell, she said to me, "How are you?" I said, "I'm good. I'm a little tired. I'm good." And she's like, "Yeah, but like regular tired, right? Like not like last year." And I was like, "Right. Not like last year." So just taking a moment to take in that it is not like last year. Last year at this time, I had just completed 3 weeks. It was just 3 weeks after I had completed treatment for a rare form of cancer, a growth that was in front of my ear, behind my nose. And I had that very interesting haircut, right? The stubble around, and then that line where the radiation was. I kid you not that I did have a waitress who insisted on telling me where I'd gotten my haircut. And because it was pretty cool, you know, it was kind of interesting with that straight line, and then as it was going, at that point it was like a little bit stubbly, so it was like, I don't know, very punk. And she, after the third time, she's like, I'm not gonna let up. I need to know you got your hair done. And I was like, okay, so what are the answers here? My oncologist cut my hair. Kaiser Sunset. Basement level. Special place where only some people get to go. She got the idea. So, I was so relieved last year to have treatment over, and I was in that waiting period before the scans to show if the treatment had been successful, and it has been successful. That's a funny thing to clap for, but thank you. I want to unpack that clapping, but we won't do that right now. But thank you, yes. You know, all things, everything's still a journey, but yes, it was. It was clear to me that it was, actually, during the course of treatment, it was clear to me that it was gone when the scans confirmed. I heard the words of the Unatana Tokef prayer that we do every year, that is a centerpiece of our prayers. I heard them so differently last year. In the weeks leading up to Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, I really wanted to make it here for that, to be with you. And I kept hearing that prayer over and over again. It's a poem that was written about 1,000 years ago, and it's by an unknown author, but has really become so connected to how we see these days. It says this, and we just chanted it and sung it moments ago. "Let us proclaim the power of this day, a day whose holiness awakens deep awe. All who come into the world pass before you like sheep before the shepherd. How many will pass away from this world? How many will be born into it? Who will live and who will die? Who by fire, who by water? Who will reach the ripeness of age? Who will be taken before their time? Who will rest and who will wander? Who will be calm and who will be tormented? Who will live in poverty and who in prosperity? Who will be humbled and who will be exalted?" This poem at the center of our prayers today and our experience of these days of awe, but really, it is true every day. We do not know who will live and who will die, who will have a baby, who will lose one, who will move with ease, and who will face obstacles. We are not in complete control. We are responsible for our lives, but we are not in complete control. This is what Yom Kippur is about. A day to strip away everything, all the devices, all the things we use to hide, not even eating or drinking, strip away everything and just be with uncertainty. Some of you already are living in this place, I know. You're in this place in a big way already every day. You've had some change. You've lost a job. You've gotten a diagnosis. A relationship has ended. You've lost someone close to you. You are in the uncertainty. On Yom Kippur each year, the community joins you in this place on this day. Last year when I was in this place in a whole different way than I had ever experienced before, I kept hearing the Unatana Tokef prayer as, who will live? And who will die? But as I've gone through this year of recovery, I've heard it differently. I have heard who will live and who will die. I've heard the possibility as well as the fear, because they are both in the unknown. We truly don't know. It is an incredible reality of being a human being, and it stirs in us great anxiety, the uncertainty and the unknown of being. We all develop strategies to deal with this unknown. We have to. Strategies to control the unknown and the living with this reality. And one of these strategies is to become fixed, to become set in how we see our lives, ourselves, others, the world. This is how I am. This is how you are. This is how our world is. But of course, everything is not set. There is the ever-present, always changing, that gently taps us on the shoulder or picks us up and throws us hard into a wall. Oh, so this is changing, and I am changing, and you are too, and our whole world is changing. Our view of ourselves, of others, of our world is always fixed and always changing. Both impact us. And it's possible to become conscious, or at least a little more conscious, of when we're operating from one or from the other. The fixed view helps us to have a sense of security in the midst of the unknown. In many ways, it is a privilege to have a fixed and set idea of how your life is going to go. To count on things being just the way they are. It is comforting and it feels secure and reassuring. And when you lose that, all at once or slowly, it can be disorienting and scary. And yet it can also be limiting to live only in a prescribed framework, a box of what our life is and how it can be, and who others are. Especially, we get fixed around those we are closest to. Our spouses, our kids, our close friends. Rather than the fullness and the changing nature of who they are, of who we are. We settle into a view of our lives and our loved ones that often don't shake up the assumptions until we are forced to. One afternoon in the middle of treatment, I came out of the bedroom to the kitchen to get something to eat. I was struggling to find anything to eat. I opened the refrigerator and I saw this big, delicious jar of pickles. And everything in me was like, yes, I want a pickle. That sounded so good. I took out the jar, opened it up, I took out a pickle, and I took a big bite. And it was awful. I mean, it was horrible. My face contorted. I ran to the sink. I washed out the water from my mouth. Clearly, I was not able to eat pickles. And it made it hard to eat anything for many hours to come after that one bite. It was demoralizing. Pickles are joy and home and goodness. And it was another moment of being deep inside this crazy rabbit hole of an experience. No pickles, more sadness. My taste buds were one of the first losses in treatment. They're sensitive to radiation, and right away they were affected. Soon I was tasting nothing. And as it turns out, the taste of nothing is not neutral. Nothing tastes bad. And other tastes, like the pickle, were worse than nothing. They were these full mouth shocks. Anything with spice or anything with vinegar. I had no idea how emotional the loss of taste could be. It was hard to motivate to eat anything at all. And with the intense dry mouth and the nausea and the fatigue and all the other, intense symptoms of these very potent treatments, it was hard to eat. But I had to keep on some weight for treatment. That was the only way to get through the treatment. The doctors are always careful when they talk to you about the symptoms of treatments, the side effects. They'll tell you these are the symptoms you're likely to have, and that they may or may not get better, or they may get a bit better, or they may get all the way better, or maybe this is how it's just going to be for the rest of your life. They don't know. And they don't know how each individual will heal from the effects of these treatments, so that leaves you right there in the unknown, all through recovery. My taste buds first to go were also one of the first symptoms that began to heal in the weeks following treatment. Some tastes began to return. But nothing was fixed, so the taste adventure was on. I had to hold the reality and fear that it was never going to be better or different, and open to the possibility that right now, in this one taste, it could be better. It's true of all of the symptoms. It's true of the path of recovery, and it is true of this life of living, all of us, in the unknown and in the uncertainty. Right where it was, and moving forward with the changing and the healing underway. This is the path of living with the fixed and the always changing, all at the same time. Sometimes when I would try things, the taste would be there as I had remembered it, and it would fill me with joy. Most of the time it was not. And I would have to draw on that deep well of patience again. And this led to the spiritual practice of the pickle. When the question comes, do you want a pickle with that? The answer is always, yes, I want a pickle with that. I know that it might not be a good taste. And there's a possibility that it will be different. It's still not an enjoyable experience. It's getting there. It's almost there. I could decide to never try it again, and that would be fair. That would be protective. Having a fixed idea, another benefit of a fixed idea is it can be protective. It's helpful to know that a situation or a person is often this way, so I should be careful, protective of myself or others. But when being protective means that we do not open to or engage with the possibility of change, these fixed ideas of who we are or who you are get us stuck in patterns of assumptions and behaviors that follow those assumptions, and we head further and further down the path that we don't question or examine. Is this the path I want? Is this who I want to be? Is this the life I'm wanting to be living? On Yom Kippur, we step back from our life and we get to ask these questions. What are the fixed ideas we have about ourselves that may or may not be in need of change? What are the fixed ideas I have about you? What are the ideas that we fix around those we love? Have I become so comfortable in how I see you that I'm not really seeing you anymore? Have I decided that this is who you are? And when there are more parts of you that want to be seen, I'm not willing to see those. This is particularly painful in many families when children take on certain roles or get assigned certain roles, or somehow it gets stuck. You're the smart one, you're the tough one, you're the capable one. Maybe we're doing that with our own kids, or with our siblings, or with our parents, or our spouses, or our friends. One of the things I tell wedding couples is that I hope that the person you are marrying today, your beloved, that you want to marry your beloved for who they are today, but also that you want to marry who your beloved will become in 7, 12, 40, 60 years from now, which we want to keep growing and changing, yes. So hopefully that's a different person than who they are today. What are the fixed ideas we have about our nation that recently maybe got very changed? A disorienting experience, the unknown. Certainly there is much change. And what does this change mean? How do we navigate this fixed and always changing? How do we do this? On Yom Kippur, we look at how we've become fixed and how we are always changing, and we take it all the ideas about ourselves, about others, about our country and world and community, and we hold all of those up into the light of the wisdom and the truths of our deepest values. When everything is stuck or when everything is changing too fast, this is what we hold on to. On this holy day, our prayers, our melodies, our texts, and our rituals, they ask us to strip away all of our hiding and assumptions and be with the uncertainty. And we do all of that for a purpose, not just for fun. We do it for a purpose. We do it to enter into this new year solid on our foundation, solid on what we actually can hold on to. Life and relationships are fixed and always changing, and our tradition reminds us daily that we are rooted in something deeper. When I say yes to the pickle every time, it is because I am standing in what I do know. I don't know how it will taste, but I do know and I do claim that there is hope. Yesh tikva. And the pickle's more than the pickle. I'm saying yes and yes again to something bigger than this moment and the changes of the moment and the assumptions of the moment. I am rooting my recovery in deeper truths. Some years ago, a dear friend lost a baby. She was pregnant with this second child when she learned that her baby had a problem that affected the baby's heart and survival. There was nothing that could be done until after the baby was born, and then even after then, it was unclear. I remember walking with her to the park to go play at the playground with our kids and her big pregnant belly. And I asked her, how are you able to get through the rest of the pregnancy? And she said something that I've never forgotten. She said, all of us are living with the unknown every day, but that she was literally pregnant with the unknown. And that she could do something. And she was clear at what she could do. She could hope, and she could love. Her baby was born, and they named her Tikva, hope. They loved her fully and deeply, and she died in the embrace of this love. 3 years later, that same hope and love guided them in the adoption of their baby boy. We call the Torah an Eitz Chaim, a tree of life. Its roots going down deep, and its branches spreading wide. The branches blow in the wind and get rigid in the cold, changing and fixed. And all the while the roots run deep, deep into that which fills our prayers and our wisdom texts over and over again. Chaim, chesed, rachamim, shalom, tikva, emet, ahava, hope, truth, compassion, kindness, peace. This is what guides us with the fixed and always changing. There is something deeper that we hold on to for our lives, for our nation. We make the changes in who we are and how we love and how we want our world to be based on these deep roots. On this Yom Kippur, may you reflect on the areas of your life where you have become fixed and set on how you see others and yourself. May you reflect on the aspects of your life that have changed or have the possibility of changing. And may you always feel your roots connecting you deep, deep down to the wisdom and the truths of our tradition.